Hi guys, this is Bissong. Welcome to Wisen with Bissong, and this is the 1st of July 2024. This month is my younger sister's month, the guy that looks like me, born very closely behind me, you know. So yes, this month my sister is having a birthday. I think on the 23rd of this month. So I actually like July. There are many things I like about July. I like the fact that my younger sister's birthday, 23rd of July. It was also the birthday of two of my girlfriends. One of them was 21st, the other was 24th. I had two girlfriends that, their birthdays fell in July too. And, in secondary school, July was always the month of vacation when we were going to end the session and then go home and have fun. So, yes, July from history has always been a very beautiful month. So I believe that July will be a nice month for all of us. I mean, this is a beautiful way to start the week. You are starting Monday morning, and Monday morning is the 1st of July, telling you to start afresh and renew, yourself. One of the things I believe is very important for people to do, especially at intervals like this, at new months, new weeks, is to do what I call a mental cleanup. I can also call it a spiritual cleanup, but one way I always try to look at things is that as it is in heaven, so on earth, whatever is bound in earth is bound in heaven. So I believe that a lot of times, even what we have in our physical space is an expression of what is in our mental space, and what we put in our mental space, or what enters into our mental space, is a clear sign of where it is, we are getting, we are being fed from. We have to be fed from a spiritual source. And the farther you are from that source of pure sublime knowledge, or pure sublime wisdom, or pure sublime direction, the more you have a foggy mind, and the more you translate that into your reality. So usually a very disorganized room is a sign of a disorganized mind. So when I observed it when I go to my library, my table, where I have my work, and I see that there are books littered all around in no organized format. I know that that's exactly how I'm feeling. Usually it's how I'm feeling mentally, And I also find out that even when it is semi-arranged, some books are on one side, one is in this side, I know that I have things compartmentalized, that's the word, in my head, though there are still like so much things. So I have things figured out or well arranged, but there are so plenty, So sometimes I need to decongest my mind, and I would obviously see that there are less things on my decks to do, because now I'm no longer dealing with many things mentally. I'm usually no longer dealing with many things physically. But let's talk about the mental, cleanup. What are those belief systems? What are those things that you have in your mind that are keeping you back? Many people, the results of their life is just basically linked up to the mental debris, that they have in their minds, in their heads. You have certain beliefs that are holding you back. One of those beliefs could be like what we want to talk about today. We're trying to talk about sexual discipline and the spirituality of sex. I just said that I have to put in this mental cleanup, because one of the things that people really need to clean up from their mind, especially men, but of course everyone, is that every man and woman relationship has to be sex oriented, or has to be sexual or romantic in nature. I always advise guys that if you like a woman sexually, or you like her in a romantic way, there is no need to lie to yourself that you want to be a close friend. That is a lie. You can be acquaintances from afar. You could have things you guys do together, but do not lie to yourself that you do not want a romantic relationship with this person. But the truth is that every woman is not meant for a romantic relationship. You don't need a romantic relationship with every woman. And frankly speaking, you have to work on yourself such that you are not always sexually, open to every woman. So that's why I always believe that people should engage in more exclusive, committed relationships. That would reduce your your availability to every relationship with a female being sexual. So me, I've lost out on many beautiful friendships that would have been profitable for me, opportunities for me, simply because I was thinking with my penis, with my dick. And I will not be the only guy. I know a lot of guys like that too. Many proper babes, when we say don't enter your life, that you actually pushed away, which you actually pushed to the curb, or you actually, sabotaged to some level. You sabotage to some level because of sexual interest in that situation. Sometimes you find out that you are finding it difficult to just, have a good time. You're finding it difficult to have certain interactions with the person. You're always trying to bring out a sexual perspective to it. Of course, I'm not saying that when you like a girl, hang around as a friend, a performing friend. Of course, make her what you want known and know where she stands also on the matter. And if you do not feel like you want to, have some level of friendship with these people, or that's because I hear a lot of things which are really crazy. Now, I was listening to this guy, I think Myron Gaines. He speaks on this Fresh and Fit podcast. And one thing he was talking about was the friend zone. And he said, no man can be a friend with a woman because instinctively we want to help women, we want to provide for them, we want to protect them. So you naturally get into some boyfriend, according to him, some boyfriend traits that you cannot control, whether you like it or not. Subconsciously, you just want to protect, and care for women and provide for them. And this woman is not obligated to give you any sexual benefits in return. And I was like saying that I was following him until he went to sexual benefits in return. If I am giving a person a lot of my time, my energy to help them, protect them in different ways, I expect more than just sexual energy in return. So it means that for all of those things, a man must. I'm not saying that if you wanted sex, it's different. It's a different case. But the very point that he limited all the things that a woman could give back to a man to sex is a clear pointer to the deficiency in his thinking. The very fact that he limited the whole expression of what a human interaction between two people can be to the fact that I'm going to give certain things for sex in return. First of all, you don't want to fuck every woman. And also, you also need to have boundaries, standards and boundaries. If you as a grown man cannot say no to a woman, because it's a woman, you guys protect them. You guys... I have a lot of people who are my close friends that I know that there are some things they'll call me, please can you do this for me? I'm a guy and naturally want to help women, but I can't help you right now. And I'll tell you, sorry, I can't come through for you in this way. If I want to have a good time, I want to flex, and I go out with my friends and I pay sometimes. I go out with my friends, and some of my friends pay, for all the things we're having. I go out with my friends and we'll have a good time. I can go out with a female friend and have a good time with no expectations, no strings attached. I just want to have a good time. I'm not trying to impress or show that I'm a provider, so to speak. If I go out with a girl and I cannot, what we are having is so much, I ask her, can she join me in paying the bills because it's much? If you as a man, you have not been able to balance yourself with proper boundaries, that's why you feel like you need at every point in time to be a protector and a provider for a woman. So that is a flawed idea, first of all, that you are saying that you cannot be friends with a woman because naturally you will get into boyfriend position and she will gain all the things she can gain from you, your masculine provision, your masculine presence, and then she will gain all of these things and then you'll not gain any from her. If she's gaining masculine presence from you, then you should be gaining feminine presence from her. Feminine presence is not just sex. There's a lot of things that are feminine presence. She might even be your best wingman. She may even be the best person to help you to even analyze certain girls and say, oh, this girl is not going to be good for you. This girl, I've checked her. She's proper. I think this kind of person you can align with. Your female friends can actually link you up with your soulmate now. She can link you up with a person that, this girl makes sense, beautiful girl. I've spoken to her for you. You don't really need to talk so much. I'm going to do most of the work. I'm going to link you up together. I just want you to speak to her and tell her your intentions. I've had those kind of situations. Many guys here have had those kind of situations, being introduced to, their wives by their friends, their female friends. Now, I don't believe that a woman in a relationship should have a bestie. If I'm with a girl and I was close to her before, and then she gets into a serious relationship or she gets married, I tend to step back because I do not want many of the things that I'm going to be doing as my masculine presence in her life or my presence as a friend are boyfriend or the person she's in a relationship or married to can fit into those roles. So at that point in time, I take a step back, and it also depends on her. What kind of way? What does she perceive our relationship to be? I think one thing is this: let us understand the very fact that there is a lot to gain from any interaction you have, whether with a man or with a woman. Do not limit it. Do not limit it to be a masculine provision and protection for sex interaction all the time. That is a limited way to live your life. That's a limited way to live your life. So that's part of the things that you are supposed to mentally take out of your head this new month. Your mental energy is supposed to be clean and light. Those things you have told yourself about yourself, that maybe you tell yourself you're ugly, you tell yourself you cannot do certain things. You have to clear those things out so they make you move light, travel light, drop those things. This new month of July, you have to walk into it, with your head raised high and also with your mind in a lighter state. And one of the best ways to do this is to connect to the source. By the time you connect to your spirit or you connect to the spirit that has formed you, that's why I always believe that you always have to believe in the presence of God, or at least a higher power, or at least have some level of spiritual connection. Just have some level of spirituality, because you get to now start understanding things, being one with yourself. You're able to calm down and be one with yourself. You know the things that are not needed in your life. There are some things you have imbibed that are the fears of others. There are the lot of other people that you have made your own. You're the person that's always listening to podcasts talking about how bad relationships are. Only the podcast you listen to is broken marriages, broken relationships. Now, you are carrying a burden that is not yours. You are scared that your relationship is going to spoil. You are saying, I'm staying off relationship because I don't have time for heartbreak. Who said you're going to have a heartbreak? Who says the guy that is even toasting you now might be the guy that wants you so much, and this guy is ready to, be all the things you've ever dreamed a man can be for you? You're not giving him a chance because you are carrying a burden that another person has bequeathed to you. That's crazy. I go see person they carry load. I say, please give me your load. I want to carry it. That's what literally happens. So that's why there's some people I judge who I listen to. I filter who I listen to. I'm very selective of who I listen to. I don't want you to infect me with the virus that is in your life. If I see a person that's always complaining, if I meet them saying small thing, we say, Nigeria just bad. Nigeria. If I just say, oh my God, what am I doing in this midst of this complainer? I have to reduce the amount of people I'm exposing myself to. Whether Nigeria is bad or not, that should not be the only thing that clouds your whole reality. If it is the only thing that clouds the whole of your reality, you're gone. You're gone, baby. Your reality has to be filled with the things you want to be there. That's why they say a good day or a bad day is not because good things happen or bad things happen. It's because we focus either on the good things that have happened or the bad things that have happened. So a good day would be a good day depending on what you focus on. Of course, there are some happenings that are so difficult, they are so big, so significant that it's difficult for us to not focus on them. Like the day my dad died, I can remember that we were having a good time. We had, some workout, then we started eating, and when the news came, I was actually eating more and I was enjoying myself. But after that news, the taste of the moment could not go. I could not swallow the moment. It was not possible. It couldn't pass through my throat. Now, that was so significant that I could not focus on it. And of course, I had a bad day. But do not for once think that the reason why I had a bad day was because that happened. It's because that was where my mind was at. So a lot of times, we just sit down and we're having a bad day because we are thinking, not because any bad thing is happening at the moment, but because we are thinking of the possibility or the bad things that happened in the past or the possibility of bad things that can happen in the future. Many of these things are clouding our mind at that point in time that we forget to even experience the present, which is actually a fun time. So most times we see that a lot of people are, for example, I noticed that some girls always try to date a guy who is very funny and always playful. Now, it's not like this guy might not have issues or might not have problems, but from the physical expression of this person is showing that they don't wear their problems on their faces and they're always trying to be happy. And this person believes that if she dates this kind of guy, this guy can contribute some happiness to her life, because women are very much, sometimes can just sink into very, very deep, unhappy moods and expect another person to take them out of those moods. So it happens a lot. And many of them can also make a big mistake by following such guy because that guy could just, be projecting a smiley face, but actually a person who has, a very, very bad life, and a lot of other things. So, but I'm not really here to go into that. The most important thing I'm trying to point across here is that we need to clear our mental energy for us to be able to move smoothly. So a lot of negativity that you have is not even your own. You hear a girl who is very young telling you how she hates men. Say, how you won't go they trust Adam? How you won't go they trust man? And how did she hear this? She heard this from maybe her aunties who are narrating their heartbreak stories to her. There's no way she would have a problem trusting Adam if all the stories she has heard is about how good men can be. You need to clear it up. It could be your past experience. You need to clear it up. A lot of things keep you. Sometimes I want to record a podcast. I'm like, oh, how many views will I get? And I'm thinking, if I do this now, would I be able to continue so time? Won't it be so stressful? Should I commit to this? Are you sure I can really commit to this? I want to commit to this thing now, but it might be stressful for me. All of these thoughts. Do you know that anytime I'm recording the podcast, I don't think about those things? Especially like right now, I'm doing this right now. Right now, I just want to let this message out and have, a good time doing this. I feel so beautiful when I'm having this kind of conversations, pushing out these ideas and messages. But outside from this experience, I can think a lot of things that will make me feel bad about this experience. That is even different from the experience itself. So, for a beautiful July, I would have to drop all of those kind of mentality. The fear of the future, the fear of everything, the fear of taking the first step, the need to either do it so great or don't do it at all. Perfectionism, the unwillingness to look like a fool, or the idea that you're going to look like a fool. So it has been said that we suffer more mentally than in reality. So it is very important that we have these mental cleanups. So that being said, let us go into the talk of today. Sexual discipline and sexual nature of sex and the spiritual nature of sex. Now, I would like to put out this disclaimer. I am not here to judge anyone or to tell them whether to fuck or not, or whether to have sex. I'm not even here to tell you how to do it or who to do it with. I'm just going to give you certain things that I have studied in my life and the lives of many people I have had access to. To speak with them about their life, sex, and all of these things. And from observation on certain people, that we even look up to, deep observation on many of these archetypes, and I've found certain things which are true across board. I'm just going to speak about these things. It is left to you to make your decision about matters like this, because the truth is that about matters like sex, about matters, all the matters that have to do with the things you do in your secret space, no one can really tell what you are doing or not. It's your secret space, your personal life, and it should actually remain personal and secret. But I can only give you what I would term, guidelines that you'd either like or not. So let us go first of all. You see, since I'm not here to judge anyone, I just want to talk about the lot of a sexually indisciplined man. And if you have seen my other podcast, the one I spoke about, can a man, I think the topic is, can a man cheat and still love his wife? It's a podcast you can check through the list of podcasts, recorded podcasts, and watch or listen to that one. And that was me advising a friend of mine, concerning certain things. And also I spoke a lot about, sexual energy and all of that. So now the first thing that you get to understand from sexual indiscipline is that it drains you mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, and spiritually. And it does it, this happens to everyone, both men and women. But the reason why it's an issue for men is because, just like I've said before, men are natural providers. So once they want to get into that kind of sexual interaction, the first thing they come from is, that provider aspect. That you have to provide something. Some guys think that they are sharp. They say, the big man, the fuck, they give me fuck for free. Because you think that the only thing you lose is financial. And many men also, I think this is also a thing. Many men think that provision is finance based only. There are a lot of things a man provides. Check my YouTube page for 5 things a man is expected to provide to his family, or a man is expected to be to his family. That is by the way. But the truth is that every man has the ability to provide these things, and you must provide these things. One of them is your mental energy. Even that babe, when we say should they come fuck you for free, you toast them now. You still have to text her, you still have to make wine her. Those are mental energy, mental investment into this person. She's coming to your house, you have to plan how you're going to do it with her. Sometimes it's always performative. The sex you're trying to have with this person is a performance, because you want to make sure that you give her where. Make sure you not go to talk your matter outside, say sabi fuck, or sabi do. Or so that she might tell her friends, and her friends will be like, that guy it's not too bad. Maybe I should go and taste my own. So it's a mental thing already. And if you're a person that needs to handle plenty women, then you need a lot more mental energy, because you have to be texting these women, you have to be keeping them in place, you have to be playing the game, you have to be a sharp nigga. And a sharp nigga is some mental work, to game this one is mental work. No matter how good you are with the game, at some point many girls just want to be around you and all of that. But the truth is that because you have not devised the mentality of saying no to sexual, presence or sexual favors, you want to accommodate all of them. And accommodating all of them complicates your life to some level. So you need some mental energy. Emotional, it drains you emotionally. And you might say that, I'm not in love with these people, so it doesn't drain me emotionally. But that is even what drains you emotionally. A lot of sex that is not emotion-based, or is not around maybe a committed or romantic relationship, makes you water down sex to just be a physical activity. So it drains you emotionally in the sense that it makes you not to be in touch with sites you need to be in touch with to create life. So a child is not just a product of a physical activity, just knacking body to knacking body. It has to be is a source of love. A child has to be created because life is created out of love. God is love. What does that tell you? It means that every action that brings about life, that where God is going to participate, it has to be one brought out of love. Where 2 or more are gathered in my name, there I would be. And in a sexual act of 2 people who are gathered to do the work of creation, which is what God, has commanded, that is gathering in God's name. And that action is where God will come and dwell. And the God comes there and puts life to that action, and then the child is born. So whether I like it or not, the moment we reduce that into a physical thing, we actually drain ourselves emotionally. And sometimes you find that you don't even determine who you fall for, and then you go and fall for a person that you're not supposed to, fall for, and then impute emotional energy in the wrong place. It has happened a lot of times, men and women, putting their emotional energy in the wrong place simply because they have not been able to work on that sexual presentation. You have not been able to work on sexual continence to some level. So I'm saying all of these things from experience because I've been a bad boy too. So not anything when you want to tell me. If not say to run game with babes, we don't do them. Understand? But at the same time too, we have done it enough to understand that it's not there. And if you have never had such sporadic sexual experience, I would advise you to not even, you don't need it. Because at some point you'll see that you will not want it anymore, but it will be difficult for you to unwrite, the programming you have done for yourself. And it's going to affect you in many ways. And I'm going to go into that in this podcast. But before we go on, let me continue. It drains you physically. Because by the nature of sex, men are the ones that do most of the work. Many women want to be led. And leadership, means you have to move first. So yes, most times the man does most of the work sexually. I'm not saying that women cannot also, be energetic during sex or provide them or present themselves, for sexual exploration of any sort. That is not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that physically, a man does most of the work. And also, most times the man's orgasm comes with ejaculation, which is a release of life force. It's a release of certain nutrients. And usually they call it they call it in French. But basically what it says is they call it a small death. When you orgasm, it's like your body releases and returns to a very relaxed state. Because a part of your life has been given. Just like when Jesus said, power left me. Power left you. And most times, after a very energetic sexual interaction, you are left with spent physical energy. Now imagine this interaction, this kind of sexual interaction happening at various times with various women. You should understand something. That at those times when it is happening, if it was with one person and you guys have formed a deep bond, you see that the sex needs to be less energetic for maybe for you to enjoy it, for orgasm to happen, or for there to be a mental enjoyment. Now, we are very orgasm focused, and I think it's porn that causes this thing. I'm not even talking about just about you. I'm talking about myself too. I've also been orgasm focused for a long time. I'm trying to correct that perspective to sex. Sex is not all about the orgasm, it's about the connection. And by the time you understand that, you'll be able to enjoy the whole thing. And in fact, your mindset around orgasm will be different. And you'll be able to practice other forms of orgasm that are not just ejaculation focused. Well, like I was saying, whether I like it or not, we all lose some level of our physical energy, both man and woman, but especially the man, when we, have sex. And what I said with multiple women, because if I'm starting with this woman now and I'm fucking her and we're having sex, at some point we get to understand each other, and sex doesn't always need to be so energetic. If you're meeting a new girl, you want to prove to her that you are a fucker machine. You go very, very energetic with her. You meet another new girl. So you see that very frequently you would always have to be in that position to prove yourself physically that you are the man. And that is going to drain you physically. So financially, of course, we know that most girls are not going to drop anything except you make transfer. And for those guys are not ready to tell, those guys are not ready to make transfer right now. Those guys are usually, it's either they are guys who can, get game like us or something. Most of those guys will find themselves usually sexless, because most times they have conditioned their mind by virtue of their environment to think that the only motivation for sexual interaction with a man and woman is money. Whether I would like it or not, even if you do not spend on the girl, you might spend on transport fare, you might spend on taking her on a date, you might spend on the data you're using to chat with her, you might spend on putting your room in order or getting food available when you guys are together. There are a lot of things that can happen. There are a lot of things that can happen that will require money when you're chasing women. And again, it can drain you financially because there's a spiritual aspect to it. And sometimes we find out that your attribution to a particular person, your frequent attribution to a particular person, might be bad luck for you. So it's not every woman that you need to go into. So that's why. So the next point is I can drain you spiritually. So men naturally would give more. in many of these situations, because men also give a piece of their DNA to the woman. I've read about something about microchimerism. I don't know all the mechanisms involved, but yes, a piece of your DNA can be given because you give. Sex is also an act of giving for the man. But now, a woman also needs to be able to pour back into you. So usually when you are in that sporadic nature of sex behavior, most of the women do not have a reason to pour back into you. They don't have a reason to pour back into you. You're not in any relationship. You're not in a committed relationship. She doesn't pray for you. A woman's portal to spirituality is such that she has a man she can pray for. She thinks about him in a good light. She tries to make sure that his life is better. This person is not your babe, so she's not trying to cook for you. She's not trying to pray for you. She's not trying to be submissive to you. She just wants to fuck. Or maybe you're able to get her to fuck, and that's all you guys do. You get that you have a very, very shallow interaction with her. Because for you to go deep, when you spread wide, you cannot grow deep. So if you optimize for spreading, most times when you spread yourself thin. But when you pick a specific position, you can dig deep in that position. And that's just how it is. You can dig deep in a particular position and put in more of your energy into digging deep. So you cannot have a grounded relationship with a woman when you're all around, because, of course, willpower is expendable. Attention is expendable. Attention can finish. Willpower can finish. You cannot give the same amount of attention to everybody. I'll give you 100% attention. I'll give you 100% attention. It's not possible. It means your attention has to be depleted, and everybody can feel energy that they're getting. So even the person discovers that they're not getting as much proper energy from you, they cannot give it back to you. There's no incentive for them to give it back to you. So you don't even get the best out of the women you're interacting with. You don't get the woman gets spiritual nature. They can get power. You don't experience it. Sex is spiritual. You should know that the source of life cannot be spiritual, or cannot not be spiritual. You should know that the source of life cannot not be spiritual. It is not possible for the source of life to not be spiritual. Men who know what they are doing are not just banging anyone. Sometimes you might look up to celebrities and you say, oh, they are getting one girl, they're getting this girl, they're getting that girl, they're getting this girl. Yes. And it might so seem. But sometimes you get to understand that some guys have some interaction with certain women for certain reasons. And we also find out that some guys, have interaction with certain women for spiritual purposes. And they can buy these women to come around, and have a sex life with them. And one thing I've also noticed is that, lust and sex is very powerful. It's very powerful. So you cannot let something that powerful be the one controlling you. You have to be the one that is controlling it. Before I talk deep about this, let me just expound on when I say sex is spiritual. And that's on the perspective of many of us are spiritual people. A friend of mine, one time we traveled together, and then before we traveled, he brought out this thing they call soji in Igbo, and orgy, kola nut. So he brought out alligator pepper and kola nut, and we had a prayer, before I'm also a person that, when it comes to spirituality, I am fluid. I understand that nature can connect us to spirituality. So why not? I prayed with him. We ate kola nut together, and, with the alligator pepper. And then after our prayers, we embarked on our journey, which was beautiful, right? The problem, however, is that even after embarking on this journey, and I've seen that this person has shown to me some level of spirituality, and this person is also a person that takes his time to pray and be spiritual, I think, wow, this is so beautiful. I discovered this person also has, to some level, a loose sexual interaction. And he told me one time that I don't believe sex is spiritual. And I told him, I say, how can you believe that kola nut and alligator pepper is spiritual, but you don't believe that the source of all life, the thing that was created by God to be the way life can come to be will not be spiritual. Sex is the natural way created by God by which life will be formed. How can you believe in God, that God exists? How can you believe that spirits exist? How can you believe that many things have spiritual, their spiritual equivalent or backing, and at the same time you are telling me that you do not believe that sex, which is a tool of that same spiritual God, is spiritual? That is the greatest, I don't know if I'll call it a cognitive dissonance now, but it's the greatest dissonance, that can never be. It's a dissonance. It doesn't logically, align. It doesn't logically align. So how can you believe that certain things are spiritual, but the one which is where God uses to form, like say, except you don't believe in God or you don't believe in anything spiritual, maybe you're an atheist, but I know you are not an atheist. How can you not believe? How can a person who is not an atheist not believe that sex is spiritual? Sex, which is the portal by which another life will be formed, is not spiritual. But you believe that you are a spiritual person. No, that's whining. No. So I told him. And beautifully, so is a loyal viewer or listener to my podcast. So he most likely will listen to what I'm saying right now. So that is it. But one other thing I want to point out again is that the feeling of lust is created by God, or the feeling of sexual appetite is created by God. It is a natural thing. It's not something you can pray with. Lord, take away the need to fuck from me. God cannot take away the need to fuck from you, because He needs you to have the need to fuck for you to be able to participate in His job of creation. Procreation is a gift by the Almighty God. So at the end of the day, when you know that procreation is a thing you cannot pray of, it's not something you can wish of, it means you have to be in control of it. Now, sex is not the evil guy. I will never see sex as an evil thing. Sex is not evil. And some people might ever ask me, say, what are premarital sex? I say, see, all of those things, have their religious view to it. What I view about sex, premarital or marital, is that if you are going to create life, the best place where life can be created and can be nurtured properly is within a committed parenthood or a committed relationship. So if me and this woman are committed to build life together, any child we have, we are committed to growing that child and training that child and having love for that child. The child will participate in the love of the father and the mother. That's how it is. The father and the mother, the love the father and the mother has is where the children come to play inside. If there is a disruption within the love between the father and the mother, it's going to be reflecting in the children. The children are going to have a lot of problems growing. They're going to have a lot of problems understanding love, because their first example for love is not clear. So the love that exists between the father and the mother is what exists within the children. If you see a family that the father and mother are always fighting, it's very possible that the siblings also have some rivalry that is very deep. Okay, there's sibling rivalry everywhere, but a very, very deep rivalry, because they are seeing that everyone looks out for themselves. So what they have learned about life is that look out for yourself no matter what and survive. They have not learned love. They have not learned family. They have not learned values, family values. So we know that the best place for children to grow, or for that procreation act to happen, is between people that are committed. Also, it also makes us to see the beauty of sex, because if you are having sex within a committed relationship, your mindset about sex is that it is something that is sacred. You see it as something sacred. What you associate something with is what makes it that thing. So you see it as something sacred, you see it as something beautiful, you see it as an expression of love. You don't just see it as a physical activity that you can have with just anyone. So you are more careful about your body and that expression of sexual energy. You see, it's a sacred thing. Not everybody is worthy to participate in sacred action. All of us know that not everybody can participate in certain sacred actions. In the church, for example, I'm a Catholic, there's something that they call being in the state of grace, meaning being free from mortal sin. For you to be able to participate in that sacred action of the reception of Holy Communion, you have to be free from sexual sin or from mortal sin. That is a way to tell you that not everybody can participate in this sacred thing. That is the idea. Also, in many religions, in our traditional religions, we also talk about why it is good that we keep ourselves clean, especially from sexual sin, or just keep yourself clean, keep your hands clean for you to be able to do certain things spiritually and they would work. You are expected that you have clean hands. Why? Because not everybody can participate in what is sacred. But how come when it comes to your sexual life, everybody can participate? So that's the reason why, because of the idea of the specialness or the sacredness of sex and the safety, the safety, first of all, for the people you are with in the relationship, and the safety for the child that's coming to the relationship or through sex, is the reason why they say premarital sex is bad and marital sex is the only true expression. Because truly, the intention of God for why sex was created was such that it should be shared between people who actually are committed and are in love with each other and want to procreate that love. It has to be a sacred activity. So that is the reason why many religions, many traditions have frowned against premarital sex, because of what it connotes. But can this idea of commitment, can this idea of sacredness, can it be found outside a legal marriage structure? Yes or no? I will leave that to you to answer. Can you find that outside a marital structure where you are committed to a person, where you love a person, and where your sexual intimacy between yourself is considered as something sacred? Can you find that there? Yes or no? It's yours to answer. Some people have answered yes, and it has been working for them. Some people have answered no, and it has also been working for them. But I'm trying to give credence to the reason why people are saying it should be better in marriage. So, first of all, I don't see sex as something bad, whether marital or premarital. It just depends on if these conditions of the reason why sex is created are met. So, you cannot let something that is powerful to control you. This sexual feeling, like I said, is created by God. So, if something that is that powerful, as such as sex, you let it control you, is bad. When there's a strong power, you have to be able to control it. Just like when you will watch all these what they call it, you watch Naruto, you watch all these yes, Naruto, all these cartoons, superhero movies, and someone has power and he says, oh my god, this power is so much I can't control it, it's killing me, it's eating me. Exactly. And they say, no, the power is too much, it's going to destroy you. Now, when you watch all of those things, we laugh about it, but it's true. There's some power that can destroy you. So, you have sexual power in your body, but it has to be channeled properly for it to, and that thing has to be under your control. So, if your willingness to want to have sex or your attraction to the opposite sex is what controls all your decisions in life, and you're making penis-based decisions. People are married to people that they marry based on penis, but they want these people to now start, behaving properly. If you marry somebody based on penis evangelism, you can't expect the person to now start behaving properly when you are now together. I mean, you marry the person based on penis, but you won't start thinking with your brain when you're married. That is one. We make a lot of penis-related decisions. People that are spending money in clubs, many of them are doing it to impress women. Now, I'm not against you going to spend your money in the club or going to drink. My main issue is that action is a penis-oriented action. You go and spend so much money, you spend your life savings to go and buy something in a jewelry shop. And you're buying this jewelry because you want to fuck. All of these things are penis-inspired actions. People are going bankrupt. People are doing a lot of things. People are spoiling their relationships. People are spoiling their marriages. People are spoiling their families simply because of penis-oriented decisions. People, get into serious scandals simply because of penis-oriented decisions. I know what I'm talking about. I've also experienced stuff like this. I've been a victim too. I've been in a situation where I was accused of something, very grievous. And as much as that accusation was not true, it was true that I had certain behaviors that will make a person want to link me with that kind of action. So some men now, they will come and accuse you of rape. You say, I didn't rape anybody. But the truth is that they see you with many women. So they believe that you don't have they see you as a womanizer, they see that you don't have sexual control. So if they go and report you and someone says he raped me or he tried to rape me, it's very easy for them to pin that on you because of your history of, sexual recklessness. So most times when you are reckless with certain things, you give the devil the power to use it against you. So might be true that you do not commit that action, you did not rape anybody, and all your sexual relationships were consensual. But it is easy for the son to rope you in because of that behavior. So that's the reason why it is very important that you are careful a lot of times. And I've learned my lesson. I told you that this kind of thing has also happened to me, whereby I was being accused of something and I was like, though I was able to say, no, this is not me. This didn't happen. And there was no proof, obviously. But these hearsays were able to come up in the first place. Why were these hearsays able to come up in the first place? Because I had some indiscipline. And that indiscipline can now be used against you. You see, that's just how it is. Another thing is that it can affect your sex life with a healthy woman. Now, you see a woman who is healthy, who really just wants to be loved properly and all those kind of things. You're seeing a snack, you're seeing food. Now, today I was in a short argument with somebody on Twitter. The person was talking about how, because the person posted that she just got into a relationship after 1 week and the guy started groping her and she has to stop the guy that the guy is trying to kiss her, trying to grope her. And someone said, you're not ready to be in a relationship. And I said, no, you should take it easy. Because if you love a person, love is patient. You're going to be willing to let the person come to that cognizance of being comfortable with you. Not every girl wants to get sexual with you at right off the bat. And the person said, that means she's not attracted to him. If you are attracted to a person, if you are feeling somebody, you will let. I say, don't treat life like black and white. Everybody's not the same. Some people, no matter how much they like you, no matter how much they're attracted to you, they might not just be comfortable with opening. Maybe there's a shyness or anxiety that they have linked with, that vulnerability. Not everybody is okay being vulnerable with their body. So sometimes you have to understand the person you are with and ease them into your desires. They also want the same thing. But for example, you're with a woman who's maybe this is her first time, or she has had this idea that maybe men always try to shame women who are easy to get. And because of that, she feels like, man, if I'm like this and I just open my body now, I hope I will not be seen in a bad light. You have to ease this person into the idea that, hey, this is not what is happening here. This is just us expressing ourselves, sexually. We are getting a connection here. We are not trying to shame you or anything. Now, anybody that doesn't understand that and just goes on to say, hey, that means she does not like me, that person is a person that, because of this is sexual indiscipline, has formed an idea that is unhealthy. And it will affect your sex life with a healthy woman. You'll not be able to give her the attention that makes her to understand that, yes, this guy is with me, because your attention is spread everywhere. And I believe that every woman who knows her worth, who knows her value, is not settling for a man that is everywhere. Trust me, the women are okay with men being everywhere and women with low self-esteem. Take me anywhere. Only women with low self-esteem, or women who maybe just because of money, or they can sell their self-esteem for money. We have many people like that. They can sell their self-esteem for money. So, and if you can sell your self-esteem for money, what are we saying? You can sell your self-esteem for money. You are with a man, you're married to, and this man is everywhere. And even before you got married to this man was everywhere. But you just put your head there because you just feel say She be money go there. That is selling yourself self-esteem for money. And some of these people too, maybe are used to not being respected, and they feel like it's normal for them not to be respected in their relationships. But there are some women that will not let it, So if you see a healthy woman, you cannot work with her. Why can't you work with a healthy woman? Because you do not come with healthy habits and perspectives to life. So what she's doing is so alien to you, like, So you may say, this woman is not going to let me be fucking around. Those are some of the things that I think we should analyze. We still have more things to talk about with regards to sex, the spirituality of sex, and sexual discipline or indiscipline. So when I speak about sexual discipline or when I speak about sexual indiscipline, I'm not saying do not have crazy, passionate, high rolling, orgasm inducing, sweat draining, passionate sex. I'm not saying that. And that's one thing that I believe that most people feel like they say a healthy sexual life has to be like maybe boring, not non-explorative and all of that. That is not true. But what I'm saying is that with who? Are you even checking? Are you even thinking about your sexual energy? Are you even, putting this in the right place? There are a lot of things. Are you taking cognizance of the people you are letting into your mental, into your spiritual space? You can have crazy, nasty, kinky, passionate sex, but with who and under what conditions? Are you just spilling your seed at any girl that says hi? Are you emptying all your time and resources just to get your dick wet? Now, even in the mafia movies that you see, and this is something I've always pointed out to a lot of people, whoever cares to listen. Now, when you see mafia movies, you see the mafia boss, all those 50 Shades of Grey type of shit, all those kind of men with all the wealth and women wanting them, that kind of 50 Shades of Grey guy, he has wealth, he has many women that want him. You don't see the top guy, the top G's, the real guys controlling. You don't see them laying with every bitch available. He doesn't live with every bitch available. Even if he gets, he wants to get laid. The people that he gets to get laid with are very selected. We'll talk about kings having so many wives. Those wives are well selected. But we also know that any king who just marries anybody because, fine girl, any king that does that, we have also found that many of them are very distracted from their main duties. We also have found that people just marry anybody just because they look one way or the other are very shallow and to reflect even in their rulership. We have seen the same with King Solomon, and the very fact that having plenty of wives is not even the issue. The issue is the fact that at some point any woman could be the king's wife, and any woman were the ones bringing destruction to him. At the end of the day, when you read through the story of Solomon, you get to understand that at the end of the day, many of the issues that Israel began to face was because of the wives who brought their different gods, and then a lot of the people were now beginning to move away from Yahweh. And the gods of his father David that was passed on to him, or the God of his father David that was passed on to him, and the duties of maintaining that, that religion was pushed to the side, which monotheistic idea of God is one of the core aspects of Israel, one of the core aspects of, the Jewish people. So what kind of Hebrew man would allow, the proliferation of gods as if he were to be a Roman king? The one who already has a proliferation of sexual want. Same thing with David. David, who had a lot of wives and still wanted Uriah's wife. And because of that, had to commit the atrocity of killing Uriah. And by the time we look at those passages, we just talk about them. We would not analyze the very fact that Nathan came to meet the King David and said something to him. He said, what would you do to a man, or what do you think about a man who has a large flock and then a man has just one sheep, and then he went to meet that man who has one sheep, killed the man and took his sheep, his only one sheep that he has, and David rose up in anger. Whoever that man is, that man has to be put to the death. And then Nathan turned to him and said, that man is you, for you are taking the wife of Uriah and killed him in battle. And then one thing that you should understand from that whole perspective is that access to plenty women does not stop lust. So many men come from this deficient idea that the more you are able to bang women, the less susceptible you are to lust. That means the more I have a lot of sex with different women, I will no longer be controlled by lust. In fact, the more you the more you yield to a thing, the more that thing has more control over you. The very reason why, because I've been in situations whereby people are saying, let's teach men how to, and that was our perspective before, advising men. Well, let's teach men how to get as much women as possible, and because of that, they will not be moved by sex, and sex will not be their main drive for doing things. But the truth is that the more you succumb to your sexual want or your lust or your want for lust, the more you would be controlled by lust. Just like I always give this analogy, a person comes to knock at your door. If the person knocks at your door, continuously, and every time the person knocks at your door, you open. The person says, I need Gary, give the person Gary. The person knocks at your door, comes again, says, I need beans, you give him beans. One day the person will come and knock at your door, you say, I need fried rice, you give him. One day the person will come and knock at your door, the person will enter and say, please, I want to join you at dinner. Then one day you'll be out on your bed, the person will come and meet you, say, please, can I sleep with you and your wife? Because every time the person comes to knock at the door, you open the door. But if the person comes to knock at the door and you do not answer them, the person comes again, knocks, you don't answer them. The person comes again, knocks, you don't answer them. At some point, they will stop disturbing you. And that's how it is with lust and almost every addiction. The moment you are able to find something else that takes your mind off it, and you are busy with that thing a lot more than that other thing, you will find out that thing gets to diminish a lot in your life. And at some point, it might even vanish. So, you don't get rid of sex by having plenty of it. Also, you don't get rid of sex by saying, oh, I hate sex, I shall avoid it. No. You get rid of lust controlling you, by being, more attuned to other things in your life, by seeking out other things in your interactions with women. So, I discovered that lust does not go away because you keep on giving into it. It keeps on coming back and it keeps on controlling you. And that's what we notice, that even in David's situation, he has so many wives. He's fucking so many wives. So why was his libido not calming down? Why was he still looking at Uriah's wife and still saying, this one, I go best, I go fuck this one, you dey whine me. They say, she's married, she get a husband. I beg, kill that your husband, I won't fuck this one. That mentality is a person that you will say, this person has to be sex deprived for him to go to that length to fuck a woman. But he didn't have to be sex deprived. He had access to a lot of sex. That's what I want you to understand now. He had access to a lot of sex and he still went to kill somebody to get their wife. It means, therefore, that your exposure and your succumbing to the want or desires of your flesh does not mean that you wouldn't stop wanting them. It means you would always want them because you have built a pattern mentally that makes you to always want them. That's how it is. So even the top G that has sense, knows that it is mentally draining, it is energy draining. He explores all his fantasies. Even that 50 Shades kind of guy, if you check the 50 Shades archetype. Grey, in that movie, you see that he explores all his fantasies with his woman. Or let's even say, even if the person is a polygamous person, you can say with selected women, which he has formed a committed relationship with. If he maintains the sacredness of sex with these women, if he maintains the beauty, of understanding family with these women, the safety of the fruit of their procreation or their interaction, the fruit of that sex is still safe. So if a king gets married to 5 women, the fruits of those interactions that he has with them are still safe. Even the Joker, the baddest villain of all, he had Harley Quinn. Bonnie had Clyde. The sharpest of men know that every woman cannot and should not get it. And all sexually indisciplined men are struggling in life. The problem with us is that when we say all sexually indisciplined men are struggling in life, we look at people like Davido and say, Davido is fucking around, he has money. But you think, oh my God, the problem is that we think that having money ends all struggles, but that's not true. There are still a lot of struggles in life. And I'm not even going, because I'm not in Davido's life, I can't even, we hear a lot of things, but I cannot give for a clear fact his sexual life. I can only talk about what I've heard. But let's move further. A lot of people that have been with a lot of women, sexual indiscipline, they are struggling in life. It might not be financially alone. We have someone like Two-Face who has had a lot of issues, with his family, keeping his family together. And whether I like it or not, brought a lot of pain to a person who has been with him for a long time. Look at this Kevin dance issue now. And all the things that's happening with his family, his disorientation of his whole family and everything. All of this is happening because of sexual indiscipline. Look at David. David suffered a great deal for that action, sexual indiscipline. Solomon suffered the same great deal for that action, sexual indiscipline. Sexual indiscipline always brings a struggle at some point in your life. I told you I've also experienced struggle because of sexual indiscipline in my life. And then for many people too, you can also be broke because of sexual indiscipline. You're just fucking everybody. You don't even know. Many of people are making themselves so easy for you to fuck. Don't you know that many of them are carrying bad energy? That's why you think good things they just want to fall on your lap and give you. Most very precious women that are portals to great destinies. Usually, there are women who want to offer this to people who take them seriously. So, when I say that they are struggling in life, they are susceptible to the most disease. They are very easy to kill. It's very easy for you to catch STI. See, it's so easy. Even that girl that's looking so clean, you can get it from her. She might not even know that she even has it, because for some particular infections, the woman might not even be aware. Because sometimes there are some infections that can live in a woman's vagina before it begins to manifest for a long time. But once the man gets in there, it starts affecting him immediately. So as a matter of fact, the woman might not even know. But sexual discipline is very important. So you jeopardize your family's chance. A lot of things can happen. A lot of men have done a lot of damage to their life because of sexual indiscipline. So they are all struggling in life. There's something that will come to you that will make you struggle in your life when you have not controlled that guy. Because sexual power is a very strong power. You're very easy to kill. Because one thing is that if anybody knows the food that you eat, they can easily poison that food. See, because the women they give their energy and life force to are not committed enough to them to give them any benefits in return. I've said this before. A woman that's not committed to you to give you any benefit in return, you're giving them your energy and your life force. So your energy is depleted on all sides. Your spirit is contaminated because you are eating food from everyone without knowing or checking the source. Our mothers always warn us, do not eat food from everybody. Don't take food from strangers. But we are fucking every stranger we meet. We are taking food from them. And why do they warn us? Because it's very easy for them to poison us through what we like. If someone knows what you like, they can poison you easily. I was in a movie, Kizari, the very, very stupid movie. But I got a point from the movie. One of the guys was killed, in that movie. And what was he killed? They set him up with a girl. And that's because he loves women so much. Any small thing woman. So the very fact that he loves women so much is what got him to that situation where where he was set up with a woman and then they came in there and shot him. So we have also heard of many cases of many men who were killed, first of all, set up by women. So what are we saying? You can be lured to your death by the food you like the most. You can be poisoned by the food you like the most. Same way, you can be killed with women that you like the most. So men who have sexual indiscipline are very easy to kill. So for all food is not good, some food are poison. All food is not good, some food are poison. And that includes sex. So when our mothers told us not to take food from strangers, that included sex. I want to reiterate. There is no place in this whole discussion where I have mentioned that sex is bad or sex is evil. No. But I keep on reiterating the very fact that sex is very powerful. And such power has to be under your control, not you under the control of it. If you say, oh man, no fit just resist. I see that I no fit resist. If that is your excuse every time, you are getting deeply and more deeply under the power of sex, or the power of your attraction, or that power of lust. And if that power gets hold of you, to lead you to different places that you don't even want to go. That's why many men are married to women they don't want to be. Many men are even fucking girls that they don't like. Yes. It's not today that you're having sex with a girl just because it's available pussy. This girl just available, I go fuck her. As long as she open. It's not even a girl you like. One time, because of this whole sexual indiscipline stuff, I found myself making a move at one girl. And then later, the girl rejected, funnily. And I later thought about it, I was like, what the fuck? Why did I even make a move at this girl? I was just like scrolling through a picture one day. I was like, what even made me make a move at this girl? Like, she has no comeliness that we should desire her. But I wanted to have sex with her because she has a hole between her legs. I just felt, wow, this one has vagina, I must fuck. That idea is based off the mindset that you must taste everything. You mustn't. A girl offering you herself doesn't mean you must take up the offer. So this new month of July, I think this is some of the things you can start working on. Take out those ideas, that are beating you mentally, that are the results of those ideas in your physical life are not worth it. They are what are bringing your life to a standstill and bending your life to submission. You want to be better. You want to be greater. One of the best ways is to make sure that all the things that are powerful in your life are under your control and not you under their control. Stay wise.